Hello team players, it's time for the final build of my Restrict Crew party. If you haven't checked out the other 3 builds in this party, I would recommend checking those out before this one. I've got them right here. So there are 2 things that this party is missing, a buffer and a healer. Luckily, both of those are covered by this build. Let's dive in. So, for today's build, we're building an Alchemist. And of course, the best research field for a healer buffer is the Trojan. This gives us quite a few things. First, it allows us to use crafting instead of medicine for anything that requires medicine. We can also give our versatile vials to an ally for them to drink, or we can throw them up to 20 feet to heal a creature. At 5th level, we can even give a creature temporary hit points when we heal them with an Elixir of Life, and eventually our Elixirs of Life will always heal the maximum damage. We don't even have to roll. Of course, this is all the remastered version of the Trojan Alchemist, so if you're using legacy content, this might not be the build for you. But the Trojan Alchemist is a lot better now, and it's probably pretty close to on par with the healing from Cleric. For our attributes, obviously our most important is going to be intelligence. After all, that gives us more alchemical items, and that's always good. Next is constitution. We need those hit points to stay up, so we can heal even more. And finally, you can take whatever you want for your 3rd attributes. It really doesn't matter. But intelligence and constitution are going to be most important here. For skills, I highly recommend that you max out as much as you can that's crafting, as there are a lot of medicine skill feats that are really good, and we can use crafting to qualify for them. Also, since our intelligence is going to be high anyway, we might as well take things like Arcana and Society. Recall knowledge, in my opinion, is one of the most important actions in all of Pathfinder 2e. So, having high intelligence is going to be pretty important for those. Also, I do recommend you put points into stealth. We're not going to be attacking too much in this build, so make yourself harder to find. Plain and simple. Now, let's talk feats. Our first feat is going to be Alchemical Familiar. There are quite a few things that a Familiar can give us. They can give us an extra vial. They can use our quick alchemy if necessary. They can even hand us our elixirs of life if it comes down to that. Alchemical Familiar is one of the best 1st level feats you can take as an alchemist, and we're definitely taking it for this build. For our 2nd level feat, we're going to be taking Soothing Vials. Basically, whenever we heal someone with an elixir of life, we can give them another will saving throw against 1 mental effect, and they give a +1 bonus to that saving throw. This is not really important now, because there aren't a whole lot of mental effects at low levels. But as we level up, this is going to become more and more important, as if we get to high levels, there's going to be a lot more mental effects that we can use this on. Invigorating Elixir does a similar thing, but for different conditions. Clumsy, enfeebled, sickened, and even stupefied. But unlike our Soothing Vials feat, this can be any elixir with the healing trait, not just our versatile vials that we can use for elixirs of life. This is much more versatile, but we do need both of these, because Frightened is much more common, and that is a mental effect. And the debuffs that we can get rid of with Invigorating Elixir are a little more common at level 4. Being able to get rid of those type of conditions is really good. Alright, we are trying to build a chef here, so level 6 is when we'll take our Wandering Chef dedication. It is on screen, but if you want the full explanation of that feat and this archetype, I did do a video on that, but stay tuned to the end of this video so you can go right to it. Next up is morning side dishes. We don't really need this feat, for anything other than a prerequisite. If we weren't already an alchemist, this would give us the advanced alchemy benefits and more vials. But we don't really need that other than for a prerequisite for a feat we're going to take later. Sour Bomb is the only debuffing feat we're going to take in this entire build. But it's really good, so I couldn't pass it up. Basically, when we hit a creature with a bomb, we can make them sickened in addition to the other effects of the bomb. So if we hit someone with a bottled lightning, they do get a fortitude save, but we could possibly sicken and make them off guard, which is really, really good. Any alchemist can take this feat as long as they use bombs, and I do recommend this for any alchemist. At 12th, we're going to take Feast Planner. I'm not going to go over all the abilities of this feat, but I did cover it in more detail in my last video. But essentially, the buffs we get from this are really good and are definitely worth the downside if you critically fail. Plus, if you followed my advice from earlier and maxed out your crafting, you shouldn't critically fail all that much, to be honest. In fact, the chances of you critically failing go down and down and down as you level up. Packed with Flavor allows us to change the DC of any alchemical food item we make that allows a saving throw or grants an ability that allows a saving throw to our class DC rather than the DC of the item. Not hugely important here, because we can already do that. However, this feat also allows us to grant temporary hit points to the consumer of any alchemical food item, magical morsel, or potion, which is going to be pretty important later. This won't work for any of our elixirs, but we are going to be taking a feat that will allow us to make potions later, which is going to be very important. With regional specialty, we can get rid of some of the conditions that we'll run into and give us a buff on certain other saves against other conditions. This is going to be important. This is a bit situational because we do have to know what we're going up against. But remember that we can make these using quick alchemy. In addition, the buffs to saves against these effects are insane. +3? Are you kidding me? Of course we're taking this. At level 18, we will take Improbable Elixirs. This essentially allows us to have the formula for potions, but as alchemical items. They have to be 9th level or lower, but a lot of potions are really good in that range. So, this essentially means we can do something like give an ally a potion of flying and give them temporary hit points. And our capstone for this build is going to be Craft Philosopher's Stone. First, this allows us to heal a person up to its maximum hit points, and it also means we can bring people back from the dead as long as they haven't been dead for more than a week. In addition, this also allows us to transmute lead into gold, which makes the party a heck of a lot more money. This is just flat out a better version of Miracle Worker, so of course we're taking this. For a free archetype, the first one I recommend is Herbalist. You're already going to have a lot of alchemical items available, so this is just more healing. Next, I recommend the Blessed One archetype. Lay on Hands is a really good healing option, and Blessed One has a lot of feats that improve it. And the last one I recommend is one of the two familiar archetypes, either Familiar Master or the new Familiar Sage. As this is just more things for the familiar that we got at first level. For your formulas, obviously you're going to want healing items and food items as well as magical morsels. But I also recommend you do pick up some bombs for Sour Bomb and a Tanglefoot bag, which is a bomb, but Tanglefoot bag is very important here, as that's just going to slow down even more enemies. Now, let's talk Ancestries. The first one I recommend is Hobgoblin. Alchemical Scholar is way too good of a feat to not take. I mean, it's just even more alchemical items. It's pretty fantastic. For Heritage, you can go with any Hobgoblin Heritage. Really doesn't matter. The second Ancestry I recommend here is Halfling. Again, good at stealth, and you're going to be buffing and healing most of the time, so why not do it from stealth? For Heritage, I recommend the Hillock Halfling. That's just more healing for you. And the longer you can stay up, the better. And the last Ancestry I recommend for this build is the Colo, which used to be called the Null. So, yeah, basically, Pack Hunter and Pack Stalker are going to help the entire party stealth, and Right Hand Blood is really good if you don't want to use your alchemical items. For Heritage, any Colo Heritage will work here. Really doesn't matter. Although Dark Vision is pretty nice, so you may want to go with the Cave Colo. And that's going to do it for this build. If you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe to the channel, all that YouTube stuff. If you're interested in the Wandering Chef archetype, you can check out this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, teamwork is vital. It helps us solve problems.